Okay, we're live now. Didn't even get to one, but we're live now. Welcome to the Monkey Bar. As you can see, I got a webcam up right now. You got a better look right there. Better look at my apartment too. That's one of the reasons I've been holding off on the webcam, is because I don't want people to see my apartment and how I live, even though it's actually a really nice apartment. But it's like, yeah, and now I can't complain about being poor or anything, because it's like, oh, look, he's living in the lap of luxury. Now I'm like, and then it's also like paranoid about people breaking into my house. It's like, oh, he's got a nice TV now.
Where they live, eh? Or I don't know. I can't do a good mobster voice.
Ohio is all we know. Oh, that could be anywhere. It's all Ohio. You know that meme?
I always want to do a version of that meme where it's just like a small Earth and behind it's just an even larger Ohio. Just like the invading planet from Independence Day.
Uh-huh. Or it's like the flat Earth map where they show everything beyond the flat, like the wall of ice. And there's all these other continents, but they're all Ohio.
God. Flat Earthers, they're just so entertainingly stupid.
Yeah. I think didn't we talk about like doing a like mockumentary about like a flat Earth conference or something? Or it's like it was Holocaust Denial. I remember that.
Oh fuck. That would be
yeah, that we were going to like it was my idea that we were going to do like a mockumentary about people who were going to do like their own movie based around what they believe happened during the Holocaust, and that like the production just starts falling apart or something.
I would love to fucking do that. It would be hysterical. I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, if we had the money.
All I have is just the mental image of this man who is just dead ass serious talking about this, and in the background, you just see the faces drop as they realize, oh no, we didn't realize this was not the documentary he was talking about.
I thought you were gonna say, "Oh God, I didn't realize this was non-union."
Fuck.
That's the big plot twist: is all the actors he hired are like union, and they're not able to work for him. It's not that they're offended; it's just that it's non-union.
God. Oh, like I think it should be the joke. Oh my God, he offends me. Minor gasp. And then one guy says, we're non-union. And fucking torches and pitchforks. One guy's got a machine gun.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of movies lately.
Ain't no justice.
Go ahead.
Ain't no justice like mob justice, as I always say.
I mean, recent times have certainly proven that.
I've been playing Space Station 13, and there's nothing more fun than rallying up a group of drunk, inebriated space miners to beat the fuck out of someone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have been watching a lot of movies lately. I've been trying to regain my creativity, I guess. I'm mentioning how I was reworking Cat Kid, and also mentioning how I don't want to go too much into the production because of, right now we have 0 viewers watching, so I feel more comfortable talking about my what I'm working on right now rather than being like, oh, you're gonna have to wait and see. Yeah, like I'd rather wait. I'd rather spend my energy on the project than talk about it. But I don't really see this as me advertising as much as just shooting the shit. So, I mean, especially like I said, with limited viewers, I feel more comfortable with that. But yeah, I've been reworking Cat Kid, trying to approach it from a different angle, and just watching movies, just zoning out, but also like paying attention to like the finer cinematography, staging, all the good stuff to incorporate into my own work. And it actually has been helping. It's been a while since I've watched a lot of movies. Mostly I'm just on Twitter, just zoning out, letting my brain turn to paste. But it's been refreshing going back through. I actually renewed my Disney Plus subscription, so I've been watching a lot of Disney movies. One of them was The Black Cauldron, And
I know a lot of people give it shit. I really like the character design of
yeah,
some of the creatures.
the character design, the creature design looks cool. The story, on the other hand, it's like I was going into the Black Cauldron thinking to myself, maybe it's like one of those unappreciated gems that's got critically eviscerated at the time, but now it holds up. It's like, no, not really though. It's not really dark enough to be interesting, and it's not really fun enough to be entertaining. I think it's sort of like straddles the line too much. It doesn't go like full dark or like full like traditional Disney in either way. It just sort of ends up being, It's an okay movie. It's probably Disney's most okayest movie, animated wise at least. But
Speaking of animation, I've only begun to realize how good Betty Boop animation was.
oh yeah. Like back in the golden age of animation, they were willing to like experiment like any way they wanted, not just in like technique, but in tone. Going back to what I was talking about with like dark stuff, dark themes. Back then, like animated movies weren't like really made for kids. They were, or like specifically for adults either. It was just, I think they were geared more towards adults actually.
They were. It was considered a thing that, you'd go to the movies, you'd watch a cartoon, but you'd see the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Pixar short, but with more,
Mm-hmm.
songs about opium.
Yeah.
Because opium addiction was a big thing back in those days.
I'm just like picturing a Pixar short before like a movie like The Goodfellas.
I want to see Pixar, do something like really fucking R-rated. I want Pixar to do Duke Nukem.
Oh,
it has to be in the Pixar style, but it's Duke Nukem tonally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be cool.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum.
And I'm all out of ass.
Kick bubble gum and chew ass.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Black Cauldron. One of the rumors, like, of course, a movie like this is going to have rumors because there was a scene. There was like the part with the Cauldron army. And like there actually is a scene that is like a sequence that is cut, and it's like very noticeable because the music like cuts out. Like I think like the test audiences, like kids were running screaming out of the theater, where it's like this really, I mean, not graphic, but like it's more detailed of like the skeletons. Like I think like there's one point where the skeleton like pulls like one of the henchmen into the moat, and like his skin kind of melts off or something. But of course, from that stemmed another rumor that's like, it's like one of the most ridiculous ones is there's a rumor that the princess in Black Cauldron, Elianwi, I think is how you pronounce her name, but there's a rumor that there was like a cut scene where like her clothes get ripped off, and there's like a split, like a one frame where you can see her nipple. So like she was supposed to have rumored to be like the one Disney princess, like the only one with a topless scene. And it's, of course, there's no evidence to back it up. There's no scene in the movie that even hints at that ever. Like,
yeah, it's one of those things you say is it's like peekaboo.
Yeah, it's like the
rumors.
Yeah, my uncle works for Disney sort of thing. It's like, oh, like he told me that there's a secret where like closet where they keep all the pencil tests from all their movies, and he went to the Black Cauldron one and he saw it, and he took a Polaroid of it, and he gave it to me, but when I moved I lost the Polaroid. Sure. And I saw I saw this rumor like posted all over like 4chan CO, 8chan CO, and of course it's there's nothing, it's a completely unfounded rumor, but it would have been cool if it was true, which I think is what causes these things to spread. It's like, wouldn't it have been cool if they were true?
Yeah, half of all rumors are things that you kind of want. It's like Nintendo fans. Every time there's an announcement, is it Metroid?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Smash Fighter? Oh no, it's Shin Megami Tensei.
What the hell is that?
As all the Shin Megami Tensei fans are dancing around a fire, cackling under the moon.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
If there is a new one coming out, or no, is it a re-release or is it a new one?
it's a re-release of a game that needed one.
Uh-huh. Because I remember hearing like a couple years back that they were working on a new one.
They are.
Mhm.
It's. I really like Persona and its related franchises a lot. You know,
Yeah.
it's a series that I will always give a little love to.
Mhm. As a matter of fact, I think I was like getting some influence from Persona 5 with doing this new version of Cat Kid. And that he's like, not to give too much away, but he, like in the previous incarnation I was working with, he's working with the SIR, the Paranormal Agency. But in this version, this new version, he's going to be on the run while at the same time like fighting basically the Illuminati.
Do you have a director for SIR?
I think I was sticking with Rance for
Oh,
the.
if they have a female director, they should call her Madam. So they have a
Oh,
Madam who runs SIR.
I think I was. There was at one point a female director, and I might stick with that. I think that Rance is like still, even when I was writing him in, he was sort of the more high ranking, but the director I think definitely is like based on my old principal, I guess, or our old principal.
Oh, is it the one I'm thinking of, the redneck?
Yeah, Madam Web, kind of.
Oh, her.
Eh,
Oh, oh, that was a gut response of memory.
eh. Uh, but that's all I'll say right now, unless I go off on another tangent. Because speaking of Persona 5, I want to talk about something that's sort of inspired by it. I've been watching Lupin the Third, the second series, the one from the 1970s, late 70s.
God, I need to watch Lupin. How would you recommend it?
Well, there actually is I was going off an article on my anime list. It's like a watch guide for all the series at the time of that writing. And I started with the first episode of the second series, and it's rough. It's the first episode of that particular series, so it's definitely like Speed Racer quality of animation. Or yeah, but I think I like the dub. I mean, it's a more I think it was the most recent dub from like 2007, and some people are like, "Oh, it's too modern. They modernize it," and I'm like, I don't really care. But like I like sort of the snappy dialogue in that one more than the animation, which is I was watching it. I'm like, I could animate something like this. It's like 3 frames of animation per action, like lip flaps, or like 2 frames. So it's like I don't know. It made me wonder like why nobody on Newgrounds or no like independent animators have done like a 22-minute pilot on their own. You crank that out in like, well, I mean, I'm talking from somebody who doesn't do animation, at least not right now, but yeah, it would be neat to see somebody put together a pilot that's just kind of intentionally crappy like that. But other than that, it's still an entertaining pilot. And I watched after that, like skipped ahead, way ahead to like the 145th episode and the 155th episode, both of which are, I mean, they're both directed and written by Hayao Miyazaki. So obviously there was a huge jump in quality there. And you can tell it's Miyazaki because the first one is like deals with airplanes, and the second one is literally has like a proto Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind protagonist girl in it, and she's piloting basically the robot from Castle in the Sky. Pretty much the exact same design. But yeah, both have really good animation action in it, at least compared to the early stuff. But yeah, they're really entertaining, really fun, crime caper kind of stuff. Stuff that I feel like I've been missing from like stuff I've been watching. But and I also have been. Sorry, go ahead.
I always like seeing a creator who has you see the proto of a character they made.
Uh-huh.
I always like that.
Hmm.
It's something that it's just something that just makes me happy.
Hmm.
When you see someone who made it playing with characters before.
Yeah. I mean, like the original manga by Monkey Punch, the guy who created Lupin the Third.
Mm.
Apparently, it's a lot darker than like the well, at least the second series. I think the first series is more in line with the original manga, but it's like really real black comedy in the original manga. Like there was one quote in particular by Monkey Punch when he was talking about the Castle of Cagliostro, the Miyazaki movie of Lupin the Third, where like Lupin is sort of portrayed as more like gallant and gentlemanly than he is in the comics. And Monkey Punch is like, in the movie he saves the girl. If I was writing it, I would have just had him rape her. And I'm like, oh, okay, well now I have to read this manga.
I was thinking of you, by the way. I was reading about the creation of Alien. No, Rape got me thinking about it because it made me think of Alien.
Yeah, okay.
Did you know that H.R. Geiger was working on the Dune movie with
oh yeah,
with Jodorowsky, and that's how he met Bannon, who that coincidence led us to the Xenomorph.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah, I remember I watched Jodorowsky's Dune, the documentary about that production. And it was really interesting about how, well, I think we talked about this, about how they had all these like now famous Hollywood people working on this huge ambitious project, and all these people connected to it. Yeah, H.R. Geiger, Orson Welles, David Carradine, just like a ton of celebrities and now famous industry professionals. It would have been great to see that movie get made, but I don't know. It's a question for the ages of how that would have affected sci-fi movies if Jodorowsky's Dune had been like completed and like made like specifically to his vision, what the vision of sci-fi today would look like.
It would be a lot more Warhammer-ish because Dune and Warhammer share the same DNA. We would probably have a Warhammer movie.
Yeah, I mean, Jodorowsky's version of Dune is kind of like an in-name only adaptation, though. So
true.
I think it would be more more like it would be almost more fantasy sci-fi because it's very like Jodorowsky's style is very LSD influenced. In fact, that was sort of his intention with his version of Dune, was to make the audience feel like they were on drugs. So like you have all this weird stuff like spaceships, they're like painted tie-dye, space instead of like black, it's colored like blue, sky blue or purple, and just like all this like crazy visual stuff. So I think we'd probably see more crazy visuals in sci-fi than we do now. Now it's a bit more realistic. But I guess you have to like factor in advancement of technology and our understanding of space right now. I don't know.
You raise good points.
I know I do.
Jodorowsky, not always. Though sometimes I say something really fucking stupid, and that's like, I have a question for you that I was thinking about with movies.
Mm-hmm.
I was mainly thinking about kaiju films in this regard, but have you noticed that as the genre have expanded, when they do monsters, the monsters have become more and more almost humanoid?
I don't know. I haven't been paying that close attention.
I mean, like, early monsters, they were all kind of. I think the big change was like Predator. Something about the Predator kind of stuck with the zeitgeist, you know?
Mm-hmm. Like, you mean humanoid is in like 2 arms, 2 legs?
No, I mean like in sort of the more features, like you understand when I compare Predator to say Alien, you get how I call it more humanoid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Despite them both having 2 arms and 2 legs.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
I apologize.
Mhm. Um, Going off of Lupin the Third, I also wrote down my. I don't know if you got a chance to look at the notes I sent you. Uh,
I did.
but yeah, what made me want to get back to what made me want to start watching Lupin the Third actually was Inspector Gadget, of all things. And the reason that those two are connected is, well, one, they were done by the same animation studio, TMS, and which led to like images like this. See if I can open this up in a.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so like just seeing how like closely the styles match each other, I think is what like, because I always keep seeing this image in particular on Twitter, especially, and yeah, like the styles fit so perfectly that it kind of makes me wish that they would have done this at some point.
It that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, um, but I mean, I would have loved to see anything cool at all done with Inspector Gadget. And like the original series is probably the closest it ever got to being somewhat above mediocre, I guess. I heard that the second live action movie was good, but other than that, it's like, I mean, I did see the second live action movie and I didn't think it was all that great, but to each his own, I guess. Uh, I think that Disney is working on a live action reboot. We'll see how that goes. But like one idea I had was like, why not just do a reboot movie done by like Studio Ghibli? I would love to see that, or like a really high quality 2D animated movie. Like realistically, it would probably be CG, but I mean I can dream. In this version, I would love to see a sort of like I don't know if you're familiar with Only Yesterday. The
No.
Isao Takahata, and he did like it was like a movie in the '90s. I think that is a Studio Ghibli movie. It's directed by Isao. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. I don't care. Isao Takahata, who collaborated with Hayao Miyazaki. It was sort of his mentor, but he did a movie about a woman who's like reminiscing about her childhood, and that's basically it. It's her just going back to where she grew up, and like her memories are sort of like this different art style and like more faded and stuff. But I would love to see something like that done with Penny, the girl character in Inspector Gadgets, of her like grown up and being a successful like scientist or something, reminiscing about her adventures. That would be cool. I just want to see anything cool done with this property, because it feels like Inspector Gadget has just been like, ever since it was put on screen, it was just floundering. I don't know. It seems like
It's
such
a living death.
yeah, living death. I don't know if I'd go that far. It's more
Not
just
living death.
wasted potential.
Yeah, that's a better term.
Hmm. I actually
By the
saw.
way,
Hmm?
can can I give you my impression of Dr. King?
A what?
I used to be able to do a pretty good. I used to watch the show. I thought Dr. Claw was fucking cooler than on Gadget as a kid.
Oh yeah, everybody loves like Dr. Claw and that
You
voice.
know that an action figure shows what he kind of looks like?
Hmm.
He looks like the bad guy of Roger Rabbit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I didn't know what to expect.
Hmm.
I was kind of hoping that he would have a hand for a head. God.
I actually saw a theory. It was a game theory. Well, not from game theory, but it
I
was
get you.
it's a theory that Dr. Claw actually is the real Inspector Gadget. That Penny's uncle was disfigured in an accident, like caused by the institution that's.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
I apologize.
Yeah, they cut me off because I was speaking the truth. They didn't want to leak any information. Where was I? Oh, yeah, the theory that
That Chief Quimbleys and group or whatever.
yeah, his like that they created a cyborg or robot gadget to, or Penny created him or something to stop, like, so she can stop her own uncle from committing terrorist acts or something.
God.
It'd be neat to see them, like, if they did like a dark and gritty reboot to approach that.
I hope he walks over very slowly and does a Thanos neck snap to brain.
Yeah. Where was I going to go with that? But yeah, I would just like to see anything done with Inspector Gadgets, anything good for once. Because
I want to see him fight the Terminator in a serious like comic, like do a serious crossover. I know that was a parody on Robot Chicken.
yeah, I was going to mention that.
I know that, but like, you know how they did like, you know the real comic that exists? Superman versus the Xenomorphs.
Huh. I think I have heard of that.
And he gets face hugged and survives. Because Earth's yellow sun.
Uh-huh. I know there's also a Terminator versus Robocop comic. It was written by Frank Miller.
You know Frank Miller wrote a Predator video game?
Really?
No, yeah. It's called Concrete Jungle, and I always wondered why that game really stuck with me. It's because, oh yeah, it's really fucked up.
Yeah. Speaking of video games, I was playing Deus Ex, and I was finally able to get into it because I'm cheating at it. I'm using
I
cheats.
understand.
It's such a frustrating game when you play the way they want you to. It's like they sort of demand that you do a new game plus because one of the big one of the big selling points is, oh, you can play the game any way you want. You can go stealth, or you can like brute force your way through, or where it's like you can start with like the tranquilizer gun, or you can get the GEP gun, which is the heavy artillery. But in reality, they want you to play stealth. They want you to play stealth on your first run through. They want you it to feel realistic at first. Even if you're playing on the easiest difficulty, you still die like a motherfucker in that game. It's really frustrating, which is why it's so satisfying to just cheat, to just spawn every weapon, to heal yourself whenever you want, because there's limited health items in the game. There's limited nanotech like recharges in the game, which is really frustrating. Like, because it's like imagine, you have a game where you get like all these power-ups and you can only use them for 5 seconds at a time. That's extremely lame. And also like the hotkeys are like for each power are like, they're like F7 to activate super strength. It's like, go to hell at that point. Like your game deserves to be like broken. I deserve whatever. It's such a headache even to think about, which is why, yeah, I just love, just spawning the dragon sword and turning on God mode. Actually, what I've been doing instead is, and this is it actually creates a really interesting gameplay mechanic where you kill a bunch of enemies, and then like when your health is depleted like to 20%, and you have to like pull up the cheat menu and type in "give me health" before like the second wave comes in. I think that's a really interesting idea for a health system where you have like a quick time event to restore your health instead.
Do you? I was thinking about what you were saying about how Deus Ex kind of has that false choice method, kind
Mhm.
of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, unless you're a good gamer, you get good, and then it becomes a good game, supposedly. But where are we going to go on from that?
What I was thinking about is there are some games that I really like. Is that when you learn how to cheese the system, like Dwarf Fortress. Dwarf Fortress, a game where you can be beaten to death by a pair of pants. But if you learn how to throw coins, you can literally throw a coin through someone's cranium.
Hmm.
God.
For some reason, that makes me think of Bullseye from the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck.
I played a brown recluse man who had a bag of coins. I walked into a bandit's cave. I basically shouted, "Hey, y'all motherfuckers," and just started throwing coins at him with all six of my arms.
Hmm.
And it was penetrating people's arms and legs. Does no property damage.
Hmm.
I,
That's like the selling point of most like tabletop RPGs is when a roll for a really stupid thing works.
Dwarf Fortress is when the dungeon master has just got drunk and like says, "Let's party."
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna get my cat real quick. See if I can grab her and hold her up to the camera. Hey.
Oh my god. Oh, I apologize.
And it should be gentle with her. She's like 15 years old.
Oh my god, she's an old lady. She's even better. I like old pets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but she's got the energy of a kitten still.
What's her name?
Callie, because she's Callie Co.
Oh, she's cute.
Yeah.
I like tortoise shells.
Yeah, those.
Calico. Fuck. That's the name. Calico turtle shells, right?
Mm-hmm. The tortoise shells are a different breed of cat, I think.
I don't know. It's cute. It's cat there. Cat go meow. That is my knowledge of cat breeds.
Yeah. I read recently or heard recently that calico cats are all born female and they're all born sterile.
Yeah.
I don't know like how more of them get made though. I guess it's just
hybridization, probably.
Yeah.
A calico would probably need to be made from a certain pattern.
I just like to torture her. She doesn't mind it though. She still jumps in my lap. I'm not going to throw her across the room, obviously, because I'm not Twitch thought.
Oh God.
Yeah. Apparently, I mean, I don't really know much about that stuff, but yeah, that's like from time to time I hear about like the big dramas or whatever. I know Leafy did a video on Pokimane, who I'm just kind of like most of these streamers I'm just like have passing knowledge of. But yeah, I guess anything to take away from that is that I've been watching Leafy. Go ahead and judge me.
Oh, Leafy,
Leafy is here, yeah.
Oh, I used to watch him.
Yeah, really.
I don't shit talk people for what they like. I'm over that. It's
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't like how people feel when they shit talk what I like, so I'm not gonna shit talk them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't really interested in his videos when he was uploading, but ever since he came back, I guess I can tell in sort of his demeanor that he's just sort of chill. He's like, I'm along for the ride kind of deal. he sounds a bit more worldly. I might be reading too much into it though, and I'm gonna follow his example and not care that much. But yeah, I didn't realize that he was uploading frequently now, because I know that he'd had that one big, like the one like 30-second video they put up in response to the iDubbbz like cuck thing, which I don't care about that much anymore anyway. And apparently he was going to leave it at that, just that one like 5-word response. But apparently it was H3H3 having a big tantrum over that made him decide to start uploading again. Which, I'm all for. I really don't have anything else to say about it because I'm not that invested in YouTube drama. But I like his videos. They're which is something I never thought I would say. Like, it's sort of similar to like back when like PewDiePie started making good videos, and I think I said something along the lines of, if you told me like back in 2012 that I would not only be watching PewDiePie's videos but enjoying them, I would have told you to go to hell. Same thing with Leafy, is that now I'm subscribed to his channel and I watch his videos. So I don't know, it's weird. It's kind of surreal.
Can I tell you something, by the way? I finally have a bone to pick with Josh Whedon.
Oh.
Josh Whedon finally pissed me off.
Really?
I had this idea of doing an interdimensional evil law firm, and then someone said, go on the Buffy wiki. And I'm like, fuck.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, now is your chance to do it better. Which probably isn't hard, considering it's Joss Whedon. I know that Mark Pellegrini, he actually did I think it's just him. I don't think that Tim is part of it, but he's been doing these videos about comic scripting, or just scripting in general and writing. And there was one episode he did. I don't think it was the last one. It was the one before that, where he just goes off on this huge rant about Joss Whedon's writing, about his writing style, and how it just sort of ruined like writers, a lot of sci-fi fantasy writers. I mean, I don't know how much he goes into it. I haven't watched it yet, but I just heard from Twitter or like from him himself saying like, "Oh, I really got into it." So I've been eager to sit down and watch it.
I will talk shit about him, but his show introduced me to Rupert, to the actor Anthony Head, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
He's good at casting. He is good at casting. I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like some episodes of Buffy. I can only watch some episodes, but the ones that I do, I enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've had no interest in getting into Buffy. I don't know. I've heard some episodes are good. I also saw like there are some. I think like the widescreen edition of some of the episodes, like you can actually see parts of the set.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm. So it's I think I remember. This is gonna be a weird reference, but My Name Is Earl. If anybody remembers that show, they actually had like a gag for the DVD release when they released it in widescreen. That one of the characters like that you wouldn't see, in the network release in 4:3, but he's standing like to the side holding a piece of paper that says, HD is awesome.
I love My Name Is Earl. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, that was such a great show. I wish that it had gotten like a proper, ending.
I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of Smokes is inspired by Earl, a little bit.
Yeah, and My Name Is Earl. I want to say that it was inspired quite a bit by Raising Arizona.
I have not seen that. I need to.
You got it. If you like My Name Is Earl, you're gonna really like Raising Arizona. It's basically if Earl was played by Nicolas Cage.
Oh God.
It's probably one of Nick Cage's best movies. Right up there with National Treasure.
And Ghost Rider, the first one.
Huh. I've
I
heard some people.
fucking what?
I've heard some people say that the second one is better than the first one.
I will stab them in the tit.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
the second one was directed by the
That
directors of Crank.
I don't care if it was directed by fucking John Luke. John Luke Picard.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know why that has to do. It has one of my favorite scenes of any movie ever, which is the whole "you cannot defeat the wind," and this Ghost Rider makes a giant fan. That kind of shit cracked me up.
I want to say that I had to think for a minute because I thought there was a third Crank movie, but I think I'm mistaken. I think it was just Crank and Crank High Voltage. I think it was just those two. Maybe there should be a third Crank movie. I don't know.
Man, I had this idea for this is an old idea. It was for Skunk Rock and similar characters. It was for a failed superhero whose power was that he could defibrillate you with high fives. That the amount of electricity he can discharge, and it has to be a high 5.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on the ground, catatonic, needing a defibrillation, he can't use his power. So he can only give you an arrhythmia.
Mm-hmm.
God.
I do want to talk about probably one of the most amusing notes on my list was watching Rugrats in Paris, and I was on some substance, and it was
the devil's lettuce.
Yeah, the lettuce. But yeah, that was an experience.
How was it?
It was like it was weird. Like it's like one of the. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's where you sort of like are hyper aware of stuff that's going on in the movie, or like certain, like for me, it was like certain dialogue or certain lines where I'm like, that doesn't seem like they should be saying that, but like
that's a plot hole.
But there was one point, and it was the point where Spike was pissing on the Statue of Liberty. No, the Paris thing, the Eiffel Tower. And like I pause it and I go into the other room to like make some popcorn, and that's where it really starts hitting me. Like it was scary. Like where I want to try and describe this as accurately as possible, but it's like being in a soundproof room, or like a room with no sound in it, and like it's just completely silent, and you can't, like, you just sort of like become more and more aware of like you being alone in this room. And there was a point where it felt like, you know, I was being pulled out of my own body, and it was like really scary. Like everything I was doing felt like a beat ahead of what I was intending to do. And yeah, at one point I just like was just walking around the room, and I just sat down and I just started writing this like letter or something. And it was like I was writing before my brain was processing what I was doing. Like, and I still have that note, and I'm not going to share what it says, but yeah, I mean, I just want to keep everybody listening in suspense, because I'm going to put it in the Cat Kid comic at one point, and it'll be interesting to see like how that comes out. But yeah, it was a really scary experience, but in a good way. Like
you got haunted by a fucking ghost.
But yeah, it's kind of like, you know, like going on a roller coaster ride, like thinking you're gonna die, but like once I was out of it, once I shook it off, I'm just like hyperventilating, like because I'm like, oh god, I thought I was gonna die, but it was like exciting, and I'm like, I want to do it again. So it's but I don't plan on doing that again for a while. I'd like to pace myself, you know. I don't know if I'd recommend that to anyone. I think I could see somebody easily getting really fucked up on like an experience like that. But for me, it was like the sake of, I was sort of like going around in circles with writing. I was just like experimenting with, how do I get myself to be productive? How do I get my brain to start flowing again? I mean, and I ended up doing that. So,
God, I'm not sure how to respond.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture of what that note looks like.
All its picture is just crazy writing.
Well, I can send it to you right now. I'll send it to you on Discord. I'm going to take a picture of it with my phone. Anything exciting happened to you these last 2 weeks?
Yes. The first one is I started playing Space Station 13, and it doesn't sound that exciting, but I got into a fucking real life. It's a Fallout one, so it's a little bit more role play heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite moment we've had so far is I've been playing a person who is a jet addict who hangs out of a clinic, basically looking for people who are overdosing so they can follow them to their dealer.
Mm.
Her name's Vicky, by the way, because I'm that, Anyways, person walks into a clinic and pulls a gun on the doctor. What the fuck do you think the town's gonna do when you shoot the doctor? You get your fucking ass shot. You know?
Mm-hmm.
There's three people I just been thinking about this with most settings. There's three people you don't fuck with: the bartender, the doctor, and probably the preacher. You don't mess with you don't mess with the basic necessities of most people's life.
Mm-hmm.
On a more serious note, I've been doing more. I used to just do some stretches in the morning so I don't end up a crippled, lurk. But I've been doing some morning exercises. I've been doing push-ups. Yeah, I haven't been doing much.
Okay. Did you get that the picture?
Right. Loading. Oh my.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that's what I mean when I say, I would recommend doing this just for everybody. Yeah, it's it was definitely that was basically the downward slope with the roller coaster.
God. What did Ernest Hemingway say?
Right drunk, edit sober.
Edit sober.
And I also actually recorded like a video too, which I haven't watched. I haven't watched back for myself, but when I'm ready to feel really, really embarrassed, then I'll check that out and probably send it to you.
You turn on, it's just you sleeping and someone holding the phone.
Now I remember what I was like, because I was giving like this huge, like this big monologue about how I was feeling at the time, and it's from what I remember, how I was saying it was basically how I'm talking to you right now. But I have a feeling because I was just looking at like the still image of like what I look like, and I just have like this spaced out look. So I feel like it's a lot more, unintelligible than I'm picturing in my head.
I don't know why. I don't know why, but like I just hear you starting off normally and then you just slowly start talking like a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, it's me rambling on for a while, and it's not like you picture a stoner going like, "Hey, man, like what if we're alone in the universe?" It's like the opposite of that because I
what
mentioned,
the fuck are you doing like that?
No, I mentioned like in the video like how like I feel like I'm more like on cocaine than I am like saying on blah 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 blah. I'm just going like da 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 da, and it's like this weird. It was a weird experience.
Oh man.
Pardon me for wiping my nose so much. I was holding a cat to my face, so obviously got some cat residue up here.
See, you have to wipe down the cat before you snort it.
What else do I have in mind? Oh yeah, and Rugrats in Paris was okay, I guess.
The movie was fine too, as you say, laying there at the end of your streak.
What else did I watch? Oh yeah, like I said, I've been watching a lot of Disney Plus movies, and also rewatching some Studio Ghibli movies. Kiki's Delivery Service and Castle in the Sky. I guess I've been reevaluating my top 5 or top 3 Ghibli movies or Miyazaki movies.
Nausicaa is still my favorite.
Yeah, I would say I would give it. I don't know if I'd say Nausicaa is in my top 3. I'd say it's in my top 5. But I was like, I think that if you were to ask me like a couple of years ago, before I watched Castle in the Sky, I would have given Nausicaa the spot I have with Castle in the Sky, because I think Castle in the Sky is a lot more of a lot more focused towards swashbuckling adventure than it is. It's like, I think that's actually one of the negative criticisms I saw given to Castle in the Sky, is that there's no like message about like environmentalism or any of that. It's like, that's sort of a welcome thing, though. I mean, it's like sometimes you just want a fun adventure, and you don't want like that preachy, you know, oh, humanity destroyed the earth, and now war machines aren't going to rebuild, and da da da.
I watch a Miyazaki movie when I want to be depressed about the nature of man.
Yeah.
And I watch a fucking Mortal Kombat original movie when I want to be fucking Mortal Kombat. Woo!
Yeah. Yeah, but I really like Castle in the Sky. Like the part where, like the part in the movie where they're on the pirate airship, and just seeing like all the areas of this airship, and like you kind of want to be like there. You want to have your own like crew like sailing through the sky and all that stuff. It looks so cool.
I always thought my favorite bit of animation. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry. What always stuck to me from Nausicaa was the fucking God Warrior. I think it's my Ava part of my brain going like, Angel? Because part of me just wants to see when it does that big lightning bolt attack, have its hand get caught by the Unit 1. We all know they would trash the Unit 1 because, you know, the whole fucking annihilates the planet with those fucking laser beams.
But I've also been watching some Disney movies. Saw The Rescuers, which was surprisingly good.
My sister really likes that movie.
Yeah, some good songs in it too, which I wasn't expecting. There's a handful of other Disney movies I can't name off the top of my head. I think they were mostly Peter Pan. Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to go into, because I watched Peter Pan back to back with the Return to Neverland, which I was going to call it. I was going to say it's the directed video sequel, but I think it was actually released in theaters. It was kind of like a Goofy movie type situation where, you know, it was sort of made for theaters halfway, and it got more wide release on. Or more attention on video, but I actually kind of liked Return to Neverland just a little bit more, because I think that the first one is more of a fairy tale movie. It feels more like a storybook, kind of that era of Disney, where it's like, you know, it's more about the adventure than it is about the story. But in Return to Neverland, it's more about the story than it is about. And it's more about character growth, which you don't really get much of in the original. And there is character growth in the original, but not until like the very end. And in this, it's definitely there's actually some pretty dark themes, because like the Return to Neverland is, you know, it's centered around Wendy's daughter Jane, and it's during World War II, where England is just getting bombed the shit out of, and she's like running around, like finding supplies, and she's really grown up to be really practical minded. Her father's in the war, a soldier in the war, and she has to be like she has to like grow up super fast, so she hasn't had time to be a kid. And the whole movie is about her like rediscovering her childhood. And I don't know, it's more from an adult's perspective than it is from a kid's perspective. So I appreciated that, me being an adult.
I was when we talk about storybook Disney, I always like hearing the songs that never made it to the film. You know,
really,
like they always keep them in the DVD and the Blu-ray version. Did you know that there is a deleted song in the Jungle Book where there's going to be another human character? A big game hunter who is hunting Shao Kahn, or Shere Khan, not Shao Kahn. And the whole song is Shere Khan basically going like, "Why are you hunting me? You don't even know me. You don't have a reason to hate me." And then the song turns a little bit into a different key and says, "Once you hate me, then you can get a right to kill me." Basically, he's doing the whole taunt like, "Come back when you have a reason to hate me." There's plenty of them.
Yeah, it reminds me because I was reading about the production of Bambi and how initially there was going to be a human character in that, but they decided to just never show the humans.
I want to see one of the humans lean down, holding up Bambi's mom, like, "Hand me the knife. This one's still kicking, useless."
But that, like, I was reading the article after I was watching, because I've been watching the Frank and Ollie documentary about Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston, like two of the 9 old men of the Disney animators, and they mentioned how Bambi was sort of the last Disney movie that Walt Disney had like direct creative involvement in. That everything after that, he sort of just left to the animators and the animator directors. And because Bambi and Fantasia, they were released, during World War II, and they didn't have a lot of, they didn't earn a lot of money. So he got sort of discouraged and just sort of focused more on like building the theme parks and other Disney like production endeavors. So yeah, it was really interesting to get that bit of information because you don't really think about that, how much creative input Disney had in these development things. Because I actually watched Pinocchio, and that was like, I think that's considered the height of like Walt Disney's creativity when it comes to like his direct input into the animated movies. Because you pay attention to the animation in that, and it's just phenomenal. It's like a moving oil painting at times, and like even the way just water is animated in that movie is amazing to look at. You look at like the Monstro sequences, like it does look like a living oil painting. Because you look at like when you sort of pay attention to how animate like characters move on painted backgrounds. I noticed that a lot in watching Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island last night. But with Monstro, it's like the whole background is the whole background. He's made to move like an animated like background. So that was really, really neat to see in motion.
I always thought Monstro was probably my favorite part of that movie, just how he moves.
Yeah.
Just I've been building little world. I like to make little maps and worlds. And I had this one idea for one for Smokes, and I hate talking about my own shit out here, but I'm going to. And in California, giant mutant whale beached. It's almost 1,000 feet long, basically a kaiju. It's been dead for so long they're building inside of its bones. And my idea was either calling it the city of Monstro or the city of Jonah. Because reportedly people were swallowed by it, but it took so long to be eaten, they survived when it beached.
Is talking about Jonah. That reminded me of there's part in Castle in the Sky, like a line that because the main bad guy in Castle in the Sky, his goal is to gain control of the castle to use the super weapon on it, and he says that the super weapon was used to level Sodom and Gomorrah.
God, I really just want to imagine. Here'd be my favorite joke. This weapon. Have you ever seen the Naruto movie? I'm sorry. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
I saw it once on a date.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, they had this fucking weapon to shoot the moon.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a fucking half hour real time for them to actually get it to shoot. And they fucking miss.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time, they miss again.
Mm-hmm.
All I want to picture, they got the super weapon in the Castle in the Sky, and someone leans on the wrong panel, it just fires.
Have you seen the new box art for the Naruto movie collection?
No.
It's it looks. I want to say it looks intentionally bad, because well, let me see if I can open this. You be the judge.
Oh, Christ.
Like, because it looks. I want to say they did that on purpose to make it look like Western box art, but I don't know. It looks a little bit. there was a.
Right. He looks like that his dad should be fighting with a propane jutsu.
Well, that just makes me think, because there's in the dub of Kiki's Delivery Service, there's a little kid character who's voiced by the voice of Bobby Hill, and that's the first thing I thought of when I just heard him talk. That's my purse. That's his ultimate jutsu. Just kicks a guy in the crotch. But yeah, I don't know about this box art. It looks. I want to say it's intentional because there's that character down there. He that's not a Naruto character. That's just some guy that they drew for the box, and you would see that. Well, going back to Nausicaa, in the original dub of Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind, when it was retitled as Warriors of the Wind, and the box art, the box art or the poster, it has two guys who don't show up in the movie at all, and it has that Western look to it. So I want to say this is intentional, but I don't know. If it's not intentional, then shame on them, I guess. But also, it's Naruto, so who the hell cares? What else we got? Oh yeah, there's a thing about Butch Hartman. Are you familiar with him?
Butch Hartman, I know the name.
Yeah, he's the guy who created Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, lately he's been getting a lot of shit for his beliefs. He's in that sort of wacky part of Christianity where he believes that he believes in faith healing, where it's you see.
Oh, fuck him! I'm sorry. I honestly think if you believe in faith healing, you're an asshole.
Mm. And
I'm sorry.
Apparently, his wife is an advocate for this faith healing organization that claims, we cured people with fibromyalgia and autism and all that stuff. And it's you can believe that all you want, but when you start trying to convince people to quit your chemotherapy and turn to Jesus instead, I think that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, those people, that's their goal.
Yeah.
They may not say it. They will not say it.
Mm-hmm.
That's their goal. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. He doesn't seem actively in that part where it's he's actively discouraging.
Faith healing, I don't want to be an asshole here, but if you support that camp,
Mm-hmm. I think it's only when you actively discourage people from, scientific or actual medicine, where I would say don't do that. I think that if you're going to be like, oh, we can heal you, but you need to keep taking your antibiotics. You need to keep, doing
Oh, but they
like
don't.
what the doctors
They
recommend.
need to get money out of you before. What they do is they make you sign your shit over and die. Some people call it like seed face
Yeah.
because they believe that you're planting seeds for all your donations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, from to my knowledge, I don't know like what Chartman's involvement in like that stuff is, how active he is with that. I think he has like spoken at some of these, so he might be pretty involved. I don't know. One of the big things is him and like this artist named Kuro, who he signed him on to do a like animated sequence for one of his projects, one of Butch Hartman's projects, and Butch Hartman supposedly never paid him for his work, which is definitely scummy. One of the points that I saw brought up was that Kuro has also been using Butch Hartman's IP. He's had a Danny Phantom fan comic that he's been profiting off of, which you really can't do that unless you have like explicit permission to do so. And even then, it's like, I don't know. So it is kind of muddy in that issue because everybody's like, pay Kuro, pay Kuro. But at the same time, it's like, how much is he making off of this comic that he's using, somebody else's IP for? I don't know. I think it like people want to make this black and white when I don't know. It's
I might make it a little bit black and white, but I also don't like charlatans.
Yeah. It's for me it's for a while I was on the whole like Team Kuro where it's like, oh, pay this guy for his work. Because I mean, there's an episode that we did where you can tell how passionate I am about being paid for your labor. But when you look at it like, like who, like he's, like it's really in bad taste to profit off of somebody else's IP. I remember actually Andrew Dobson of all people was getting a lot of flack for this this Adventure Time drawing that he did that he was asking for money for, and people are giving him shit for that. But apparently, it's okay for somebody else to sell merchandise of somebody else's IP. So, and as long as the person you're stealing from is a bad guy, I think that's really, I think that's scummy. I mean, you say what you will about Butch Hartman and like his wacky beliefs, but I don't know. I think that's like stealing is stealing, and it doesn't really. I think you need to take more into account than what's on the surface.
It's a muddy area.
Yeah.
God.
Moving on to that. Another YouTube channel I've been watching. I don't know if I've ever brought him up on this on here before. Terrence Pop.
I have not.
But yeah, he's
No.
Okay. He's a sort of like I don't think his videos are for everybody. And as a matter of fact, it actually took me a while to get into him because he has this sort of like abrasive, I guess, personality. I would like to send you a link to one of his videos just to see how similar he is to your uncle, if there is any similarities. Because he's a retired Marine, and he gives like life advice, makes fun of the feminazis, kind of deal. But he makes a lot of good points, which he's entertaining to watch. And well, I think he's pretty cool. I've come around to that at least. I want to see what his most recent video is titled, just to give you an example of. but his most it's hard to tell. Oh yeah, it's one of those channels where it's you ever you know those channels where it's like a channel with two names where you have you know because
Penguin
yeah,
Zero.
like yeah, Penguin Zero is really like but he actually goes by his other username Critical, and but with Terrence Pop, the channel's name is Terrence Pop, but the brand is redonkulous.com.
Mm-hmm.
So his most recent video is called Civil War, You're on Your Own. So he's been going into the whole political unrest in our country.
By the way, God, I'm actually thinking about doing a video on the South, like Southern history,
mhm.
because one of my friends challenged me on something about that. So I did some reading, and God, you ever just? I blow a gasket sometimes. I think there's like a part of my brain, a part of your brain that's supposed to store like when you're thinking about something that's complex thoughts is where your brain stores. As you can tell right now, my brain short circuited because you triggered my thought there. Basically, imagine just a swarm of bullshit, and the different bullshit swarms are hitting each other. My God, I cannot speak today. I apologize.
There was some Civil War stuff in Scooby Doo from Zombie Island, and
Oh,
or like there's like one of the ghosts or one of the zombies or some of the zombies are like Southern soldiers, which you could get away with back in the 90s.
I don't think there's an issue making. No, you know what I would do for a Predator movie?
Hmm.
I want to do if Shane Black somehow made me the director of a new Predator, I would have the opening scene be a montage of a Predator hunting different groups of people from around history.
Oh yeah.
You get like the Predator hunting Confederate generals. You get the Predator hunting like mobsters. I would have the Predator hunting a minor celebrity from the 1980s. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Whoosh! One guy working on the cure for cancer starts talking about how he's a tough motherfucker. You just see the free lights appear on his head.
No, he was working on the cure for autism, and the predator
God.
kills him because autism is the next step in evolution.
Oh my fucking God. I finally saw the movie. Keegan Michael Key's a great actor. God. He's the best part of that movie.
So it makes me think about my dumb theory about autism, and that if I were to, like, I had a theory that autism isn't actually the evolution, but it's like de-evolution.
No, it's neither. It's basically just a fucked up gene. Hey Tony,
I mean,
can you get your finger to cook? Can you?
Can I get my what?
Can you get your finger to crook like a 7?
Like which finger?
Your pointer.
Okay.
Or like, are you one of the people who can curl their tongue? Like, yeah, like that. That's a gene. Autism's like that. It's not an evolution or a devolution unless you get all the autistic people fucking for generations.
You see, it shows how little I know about autism, because for a while I thought it was like, your primitive monkey brain sort of. I mean, excuse the term, but like your primitive. Well, I can say it because I got it.
No. Monkey brain's a real thing.
Right, but it's the idea that like autists are hyper focused on one thing, and that's that's like sort of your caveman brain, like focusing on one thing, and that like I don't know, that you're able to like tune out the world around you. But I guess autism comes in a spectrum, so obviously that theory is already out the window. Because I have seen severely autistic kids who just can't talk at all. So it's sort of like, well, maybe that's where that theory stems from, but I don't know. I'm gonna shut my mouth about that, because obviously I don't know much about it, despite that should be part of my culture.
You know what I was thinking about with like all the bullshit with with no, you know what gets me? The people say, vaccine people say it's caused by autism.
Yeah.
If it,
And that's what makes me like. That's what I'm anticipating for when the coronavirus vaccine comes out. Is like people are just going to like. I mean, it'll be interesting to see like the scales between people who are afraid of dying from the coronavirus, who have been like conditioned to believe that, oh my god, if I go outside I'm going to die, if I go outside without a mask I'm going to die like tomorrow, versus the people who think autism is caused by vaccines. So I can just picture just being in a Ruberos next year for that. But I think that's a discussion for another time. Do you want to end this episode?
Sure.
All right. I think that
Sure.
we've gone over
By the
plenty
way,
today.
before I go, I do have one last bit of trivia. Jean-Claude Van Damme almost played in the Predator movie as the Predator. He refused because he wanted to play the monster, but also show his face.
Yeah, that makes sense. We need more people like Carl Urban who are willing to wear a helmet for the whole movie. But yeah, anyway, I think we're ready to wrap up.
Well,
I've been Tony.
I've been Zach.
And this has been The Monkey Bar.
Autistic monkey brain.